Hello, I'm Dr. Jeff Kingsley, and welcome to another edition of Riding in Cars with Researchers. Today we are going to continue our conversation on virtual clinical trials. Let's start with what trials look like today. Almost all trials today are what I call brick and mortar buildings. I ask you to come to me as a patient. That's how most healthcare is today. If you go to see your doctor, most all of you watching this get in your car, you go to a doctor's office, you go to the doctor, and then you get seen there. The doctor doesn't come to you, nor do you interact with your doctor through a web-based portal. It's happening more and more in healthcare. It's called telemedicine, and there is an acceleration. It's been happening for decades now, honestly, but it is accelerating. It is gaining more traction. In research, it's called virtual clinical trials, because the trial is moving from brick and mortar to web-based platforms. Today in research, almost everything is traditional, brick and mortar. Now, what does virtual look like? Virtual looks like this, except you and I are able to talk to each other in real time. Virtual is I'm able to see you through a web-based platform, which is no different than FaceTime or Skype or WebEx, but HIPAA secure. I'm able to see you and interact with you. We can discuss the informed consent document for a research trial. I can review your medical history and your medical records. I can answer all of your questions about that informed consent and about the details of the trial. And if you're interested and appropriate, you and I both electronically sign the informed consent document together, live, as interactive as it would be if you had to come to me and be seen in my office. And then we can proceed with the study visits. I can interview you and interact with you, and I can send a nurse to your home who can help with the physical exam and drawing blood and help with the EKGs. In fact, EKGs, where they put leads on your chest to take a look at your heart rhythm. Today we have Bluetooth-enabled devices where a patient can put their fingertips on a couple of sensors, and an EKG can be done through your fingertips. And I can see the EKG from the comfort of my office without having to have you come to me just to get that EKG done. So all of your research visits could be done in the comfort of your own home. Now there's a step in between. We've got traditional, brick and mortar, virtual. The step in between is called hybrid, and it's just that. It's a hybrid of the two, where some of the visits would be brick and mortar, some of the visits would be virtual. Now what's driving this? Why are we driving toward virtual? Two main reasons. One, it's hard to find patients that meet criteria, and two, when they do meet criteria, greater likelihood that they say no because we're asking too much of their time. What's the driver of the first one? Inclusion and exclusion criteria are increasing, largely because we are entering an era of personalized healthcare, personalized medicine, genetic healthcare. We have research trials going on today in all specialties where we are targeting patients with a very specific genetic profile. Our therapies are getting that precise, which is a wonderful thing. That is so beneficial that we're not treating all congestive heart failure patients the same, all breast cancer patients the same. Rather, we're treating patients based upon their specific genetics, which is revolutionary for healthcare. But what it means is patients are more rare. If you have a physician practice with a database of 1,500 patients, you don't have enough patients in your practice to be successful on most of those trials. You have to have access to more patients to find patients who meet all the other inclusion and exclusion criteria, and they have the right genetics. You need a population of hundreds of thousands or millions of patients to be successful with that. How do we get access to hundreds of thousands or millions? Virtual clinical trials mean I could be a principal investigator and enroll patients from across my entire state. I'm in the state of Georgia right now. Georgia has a population of over 12 million people. That's not 1,500. That's not 100,000. That's 12 million patients. who could be considered for one of my research trials. Why is that the case? Well, because in traditional research trials, if I'm asking you to come to me, most patients aren't going to travel any large distance. So what happens is most of my patients in my research trials will travel maximum a 5-mile radius to my office. Not far at all, a 5-mile radius. There are occasions where patients will travel hundreds of miles to be able to enter a research trial, but that's the exception, not the rule. That doesn't happen all that often. So virtual clinical trials helps fix that issue. And then the second was, I ask so much of patients, there are so many office visits, that patients are more likely to say no to a trial. Well, now I've gotten rid of that too, because now I'm going to come to you. You can be in your bunny slippers in your living room, and we will facilitate your ability to be in that research trial. In fact, you could do a study visit while you're at work. No reason that you couldn't be at work that day, whereas if I'm asking you to come to me, you have to take time off work to do so. Virtual clinical trials are a dramatic improvement on those two critical issues. They are solving that pain. That's why virtual is coming. Now, hybrid, the spot in between, is good, not great. The industry's saying, let's put a toe in the water. Let's start with hybrid trials. While that may seem sensible, it's not a good experiment of how revolutionary virtual would be. It improves the patient experience, I'll give you that. Hybrid still improves the patient experience. Most of your visits could be at home, but some need to be in my office. But it doesn't alleviate the geography issue. And that's huge. If I'm asking you to come to my office at all in that hybrid model, then again, only patients who have the ability to travel to my office can enter the trial. I immediately shrink the geography back down to something similar to brick and mortar. Huge decreased success with hybrid over true virtual. So industry's saying, let's stick our toe in the water and start with hybrid, and then if it goes well, we'll do virtual. Not a great experiment. Virtual trials are coming, and they're huge. They're going to be fantastic. Dramatic ability to enroll patients in research trials faster. Huge benefit of being able to grab from huge geographies, and dramatic improvement in the patient experience. Look up virtual clinical trials. They're very exciting, and participate. Help our industry move forward. I'm a consultant with numerous companies today on virtual clinical trials. I've already been speaking and writing on virtual. I will continue to do so because this is research of the future. As always, thank you. Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and I look forward to riding along with you again in the future. Take care.